What's up YouTube, my name is Sleetza, thank you so much for tuning in. In this video we're going to talk about how many one drops you actually want to run when you are aiming to complete the hunter quest. So let's get started. Just in case you've been living under a rock for the last few weeks, this is what the quest asks you to do, and this is its reward. Basically you play 7 1-cost minions, then you get Queen Carnasa, and if you play Queen Carnasa, which obviously has a very powerful body for 5 mana, she shuffles 15 raptors into your deck, and those raptors are 1 mana 3/2s with the battle cry draw card. So pretty awesome stuff. There are some cards to complement this, and the first one is actually the small raptor, because and this is just a regular one drop. This isn't the raptor summoned by Carnasa's Brood. You can just put this in your deck, and its death rattle is to shuffle another one drop in your deck, because the 4/3 raptor will be a 1 mana card, so will help you complete the quest. So that's pretty cool. And it also has an elemental tag or a beast tag, and the Firefly, which basically adds another 1 drop to your hand right when you play it. It doesn't have beast tags, so they're not good for synergies with beasts, but we'll get to why this card is pretty good in a minute. And there's also the Tolvir Warden, which is a 5 drop. The body isn't that good, but it basically draws 2 1-drops out of your deck, which isn't only good for drawing 1-drops and playing them, but also for thinning your deck, because you don't want to play 1-drop after 1-drop after 1-drop, especially after you've completed the quest. So I ran into this pretty great tool over at hearthvis.com. I put a link in the description below this video. Definitely check these guys out, because this is really cool what they made. So this is basically a little tool to let you fiddle with how many 1-drops you want to run. So I'm going to show you what you can do over at this website and share my thoughts. Definitely check those guys out, give their website a visit, check them out on Twitter, etc. So here are the input parameters. Basically, if you want to complete the quest, there are a few ways to go with it. The first group wants to run like a minimal amount of 1-drops in order to not pollute their deck too much, so they are aiming to run around 8 to 10 1-drops, and they are aiming to get the quest done along the way, like somewhere, and their game plan is not just to complete the quest, but they do it along the way. Then you have this group of players who want to get the quest done, but in a pretty efficient manner. So they are usually looking to run like 12 to 16 1-drops in their deck, to have pretty good odds to complete the quest at a reasonable turn. And then there's also guys who just want to run the quest, Hammett, the new legendary, and a Rhino in order for some sort of 1-turn kill like bursty thing. And those guys usually just run the quest, Hammett, and 1 or 2 Rhinos and 26 or 27 1-drops in order to just get it done, because the 1-drops will be destroyed by Hammett anyway. So this tool is mainly aimed at the guys who want to play the optimal amount of 1-drops that gives you enough of a probability to get the quest done at like turn 5 or turn 6, and really doesn't want to pollute their deck. Like they still want to run high mains, they still want to maybe run kill commands or a bow, maybe some trap stuff like that. So it's really interesting. So over here you can actually show different probabilities. Let's put this slider up a bit. So this basically shows you what are the odds that you complete the quest at a certain turn. Tolvir Wardens obviously really increase the odds of completing the quest at turn 6, because you draw it and you can play other 1-drops. So that's obviously really powerful. But when you take this, you can, if the graph shows the probability, oh, there's a little typo here, but it shows the probability the quest has been completed at or before a given turn. So that's what I'm going to be looking at, because ideally I want to have pretty good odds to have the quest completed in like turn 5, 6, or maybe turn 7. So let's see what we need to do. I'm just going to put this here. So obviously the quest is to play 7 1-drops, so you want to play at least 7 1-drops if you're going to run the quest, but that gives you pretty bad odds. It's like 0.5% chance at turn 12, so we want to run a lot more. So let's take a look at the guys who want to run 8 to 10 1-drops. Well, here's what it looks like. I'm just going to add the small raptors because you can add the fireflies. Let me show you the Fireflies, the small raptors, and the Tolfir Warden. So I'm assuming the guys that want to run like 8 to 10 are running the small raptors. I don't think they want to run the Fireflies because they don't have the beast synergy, and they're probably not running the Tolfir Wardens as well. So here's what the graph looks like when you put 8 1-drops in your deck. That's like pretty low rate of success, right? So let's change it up to 10 to give a little bit better odds. But it's still pretty low. I mean, chances are you'll be dead by the time you complete it. So if you're doing this, you really need a secondary game plan to be strong and not rely on just the quest to win you the game. Which could work, I don't know. But this gives some insight on what are the odds to get the quest done when you're running 10 1-drops, including 2 small raptors and no Tolfir Wardens. So. But let's jump right to the group which wants to run like the optimal amount, like a pretty balanced hunter deck with which also completes the quest, and maybe run some rhinos next to it. So I'm assuming those decks will run 12 1-drops at least, 2 small raptors. And here's the first thing that really opened my eyes, or that I really got to see. This is what happens if you add 2 fireflies to it. So that's actually 10 beast 1-drops and 2 fireflies. You saw that? Increases the odds by a lot actually. Like let's go to like turn 7 with 12 1-drops and no fireflies, but with 2 small raptors included, you have like 5% chance to have the quest completed at turn 7. If you decide to not run 12 beast 1-drops but 10 1-drops with beast synergies and 2 fireflies, that's like over 20% success rate at turn 7. So that's how good fireflies are for completing a quest. So initially I wasn't going to include the fireflies into my hunter deck, but when I saw this I was like, yeah, those odds are really hard to beat. But well, if you want to get the quest done in an efficient manner, and you probably also want to thin out your deck so you don't keep drawing into your 1-drops by the time you're in turn 8, 9, 10. So this is what happens if you use 2 Tolfir Wardens. So that's a pretty big jump. Let's see it again. So turn 7, like roughly 20% chance without the Tolfir Wardens with 12 1-drops, right? So we put 2 of them in. It's 44, like pretty much 45%. You get the quest done at turn 7. That's more than doubled. That more than doubled your odds to get the quest done on turn 7. That's how good Tolfir Wardens are. So I'm going to run the Tolfir Wardens. I think those Tolfir Wardens are really, really core. If you're running the quest, you want to run Tolfir Wardens. So that's another thing that this graph showed me. So yeah, you're probably not going to complete the quest at turn 5 with this configuration, but on turn 7, 6, 7 and 8 you have really high probability of completing the quest. So maybe this should do, maybe 12 1-drops, 2 fireflies, 2 smolten raptors, 2 Tolfir Wardens. And that leaves like 16 other, well, minus the quest, it leaves you like with 15 other card slots to put like your Savannah Highman skill commands, maybe you Call of the Wilds, etc. in it. So that's already pretty interesting. So let's jump to the upper tier, like 16 1-drops. This is what the graph looks like if you put 16 1-drops in your deck, include the Fireflies, include the small raptors, and include the Tolfir Wardens. So 20% chance, well, a little less at turn 5, but a whopping 55.5% at turn 6 and 72% at turn 7. Those odds are already pretty good. This is probably reasonable, but here's another thing. This is where you can, I'm going to set this to 7. your extra card draw by turn 7. So I'm going to put this back at, well, let's put it back at 12. So at turn 6 you have like 29% chance to have the quest completed. What if you play a Guild Master and you suicide 2 1-drops? Or maybe just 2 alley cats, you know? So let's assume you draw 2 cards of that. All of a sudden it bumps up to like 47% at turn 6. And yeah, card draw ends up really helping a lot. You see? Having some card draw in your deck is actually probably better in order to get the quest done than, okay, look, 12 1-drops, 0 card draw, like turn 6, 29%. So let's see what happens if we drop to 2-drops and we add 2 Guild Masters, so we assume we draw 2 cards by turn 7. Actually your odds went up quite a lot. So let's put this to 1, so because we obviously won't draw cards every turn, sometimes it will be awkward in your hand, but let's assume that if you're running 2 Guild Masters, that on average you'll draw an extra card by turn 7. So with 10 drops on turn 7 your success rate is like 41%, and when running 12 it goes to 54%, and when it goes to 13 it really bumps by a lot, still actually like 62-63%. And 14 gives you even more, but slightly less, like 69.8. So you obviously can take it further, put 15 1-drops, but I'm thinking, like, if you look at this graph, because of the tool for Wardens, you're pretty much seeing diminishing returns after turn 6 if you're running tool for Wardens. So I think we have to find an happy medium, find some happy spot or a good place. I'm actually settling for this probably, because yeah, if, like in 1 out of 10 games you get the quest done on turn 5. That's pretty amazing. And in addition, like in less than half your games you get the quest done on turn 6. That's pretty good. I mean, that means like you get to drop a 5 mana 8/8 buddy on turn 6 or on turn 7. That's pretty, at that point in the game that's still relevant, right? And when you don't make that, there's still a 62% chance to complete it at turn 7. So I'm thinking with the Fireflies, small raptors, tool for Wardens, the optimal number will be 13, assuming you draw cards, assuming you run like a Blizzard or a Guild Master, because these odds, like you get 1 turn, that's 54.6% chance to get it done. 72. I mean, you like in 8 out of 10 games you have the quest done at turn 8. And I think that's just good enough. It's like finding a happy medium between consistency in trying what you do and actually supplementing in what you do with like other cards, like your high drops. Maybe you want to run the new 2-drop that adapts a beast, so you can adapt your Queen Kanasa, so she has Wind Fury and stuff like that. So I personally don't think running like full deck of 1-drops is the way to go. Based on this math, actually I think like either 13 or 14 will be a pretty nice spot. Even when you don't draw your cards, it's still reasonable odds, and you still complete the quest at like turn 6 or turn 7 in most of your games. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty good tool. I don't know what kind of enter deck you are trying to build, but definitely check this website out and definitely fiddle around with it and see what you can brew up in terms of homemade decks. It's pretty cool, so give those guys some love. They are on Twitter as well, so make sure to follow them. They actually have like just 66 followers while they make this amazing tool. So definitely check those guys out. Link is in the description below. If you enjoyed this content, please give me a subscribe on YouTube, and I hope you watch my next videos as well. So my name is Sleetza, I'm signing out, and I hope to see you guys next time.